All right. All right. Welcome to Dugout Talk with the Downs Bros. We have a special guest tonight, John Jacobs.
The man, the myth, the
The man, the
legend.
myth, the legend.
Yeah,
What's
I don't
up,
know about
dog?
that.
Anyway,
Yeah, what's up, fellas?
my brother Tommy over here in the corner, Big John on the bottom. Shit, half John now. Shit. And anyway,
Yeah.
but hey, I'm gonna let Tommy go ahead and introduce you, John, and then hear a little bit about your background and kind of what we're gonna talk about tonight. Okay, Tommy, go ahead, buddy.
That
Yep,
works.
my big buddy John Jacobs. He is a high school coach out of Canyon View High School in was the Waddell area in Arizona? Is it Waddell?
Waddell, Arizona.
That's
Waddell,
correct.
baby.
Waddell, up in the Dell.
Yeah, we're out here at Waddell University, man.
Correct.
Perryville Road and Bethany home, baby.
Yep.
West Side.
Yeah. And John's also the head of the Arizona Bat Busters organization travel squad. So, John, go ahead and give us a little background of yourself.
Yeah, man. This is I've been the only softball coach here at Canyon View High School, so we've been in existence
Cool.
about 7 years. We've had a lot of success here. Just like any other coach, I've been blessed with kids that are very, very good. And I've kind of reaped the benefits from that. But hopefully along the way, I've taught them a few things. I came, just like everybody else that's probably in this game, I came from a baseball background and a sports background. So I've been around the game for a while. I had my two first kids were daughters. So it kind of pushed me in that direction. So at one point I was coaching. I was coaching baseball and then girls little league softball until we got into the club scene. So yeah, man, that's a little bit of me right there.
So obviously, John, you're being really modest because you obviously
Very
have
modest. You
a
forgot a
really
whole
big
lot of
background
stuff.
of football in the NFL and baseball. And obviously, we know your wife, Bianne, that was at UCLA. And again, huge family of sports. Huge. Your oldest daughter's going to Utah. Big deal. Big deal.
Yeah. I definitely I'll punt in my coverage on that. Got me a superior athlete. I'm just trying not to screw it up, but I'm originally from born in Los Angeles. Mom moved us out to like the Ontario Chino area, and I've been very, very blessed to have some really strong people in my life that kind of give me the foundation that I have right now. And it's actually the blessing and the curse for me. Because I've had so many great men and women that touched my life that I'm trying to live up to that. And I don't know if I can ever touch that because they were so good to me. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. But I got drafted out of high school by the Royals, played minor league ball, did that, loved it. Eventually went through a little bit of adversity when I got released. I didn't know what I was going to do in my life. Then a buddy of mine convinced me to go to San Bernardino Valley College, where an old man saw me walking around campus at 6'5", about 300 pounds. Told me I was going to play football. And I was like, yeah, I don't really do football. I never played. My mom let me play in high school, so I never played it. Ended up talking me into it. First time ever trying to do so. I didn't know what position. Only person I knew was Reggie White. I figured I could beat Reggie White. First day ever, trying to do some moves, fall, dislocate my elbow. I'm thinking like this isn't yeah, like this is not it. This sucks. And this guy, I love this guy. His name was Ron Smedley. He called everybody fucker. Hey, fucker. You're like, what? He called it, that's how you approach everybody. He goes, everybody gets hurt. You'll be all right. And so he talks me coming back into it. We had it's kind of this part of my life. My eyes kind of got open because it's pretty similar to some of the stuff that we talk about all the time, like recruiting. Like I had played 1 year sort of at San Bernardino Valley College, and my numbers and my size, 6'5", 300 pounds, and I ran very well, told me I need to be a D1 big time athlete. But the 7 games I played at junior college in my entire life told me I wasn't. And for me personally, I didn't know that I was 6'5", 300 pounds. I just was out there. When you see people on
He's
TV,
just John.
you don't really. Yeah, exactly. You never see those guys next to you. You're always looking out external. I didn't know how big I was, and so, I went there. And so, after my second year there, there's another weird story on my path. So all these people came, recruiting our school because we were really good. And this older gentleman came in, wasn't super old, but he came in from Baker University in Kansas, right? and everybody's laughing at me. Came in, and I was like, you know what, you told me the school's a nice school, man. That's pretty cool. And so he went home and died.
Oh
No
no.
way.
Yeah, he went
What?
on, met him. Yeah,
What?
went back. Yeah, he just died. Charlie Richardson.
Oh
I get a call from,
no.
yeah, Coach Harris and Coach Angulis, and they tell me that they thought, Charlie told me, he thought I was good and couldn't believe that I was a guy like me would be even thinking about going to college. And so long story short, they came out, visited me and my mom, and I made the decision to go there, man. And it was kind of one of those deals that, that guy, when I was nothing, I didn't know if I could play football or nothing. That guy told me that I could be something, man. And so
Yeah,
I'm huge on that kind of stuff. The way my mind works, if you can show me that I can do something, there's nothing I can't do, especially
I
if I
agree.
believe it. So
I agree.
then I got there to
Yeah.
Baker and had to kind of figure out my way there. The academic side was tough, man. It's not a cupcake school, and it wasn't this big time Division 1 where people are gonna, cater to you. But they had everything I needed there, the tutoring system, everything I needed at that school to kind of make me successful. And I met friends to this day, man, that are my brothers. It was the best thing ever. I probably wouldn't have tried at a bigger school. So it's perfect for me to go to that NAIA. I did very well. Then I got, workout with the Vikings, and then, I signed with St. Louis. And then when Coach Vermillion went to Kansas City, I switched from O-line or from D-line to O-line. I spent some time in NFL Europe. I've had a good run, man. Like it's been amazing, and I'm just blessed. But it was the opportunity of the people that foundation of me growing up, that instilled in me. Uh, it was crazy, man. I tell the story. My grandmother's house. I went to Holmes Avenue Elementary School. And this is in the ghetto, man. Like it's rough, nothing there. But I always wish I can go back. But there's a group of people that came in and they put a doughboy pool in, like an above ground pool on the concrete because in those schools in LA, man, there's no grass. It's
Yeah.
concrete jungle, and it's
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
the
Concrete
track is
jungle.
on painted. Yeah, it's painted on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Faces are painted on the ground. Like
Wow.
seriously. And
Yeah.
so I'm getting there's these they're teaching these young kids how to swim, and I get in this pool and I'm petrified. And this lady looked at me and said, "You know, you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it." That has been the single most important thing that's ever been told to me in my life. I might have been in fourth grade. My kids in their bathroom, it has on the wall in their bathroom. That lady struck a fire in my head that has been simply amazing from that one time I interacted. I've never seen that lady again in my life, and I maybe had a hour with her, and she
Wow.
impacted me so much. And I can only pray and hope that I can have that impact on someone. But that girl, I'm 50, I'll be 52 this year, man. And that has been the one thing when all things are going bad, I go to that. I go. I never get in a pool. I never go around the pool without remembering that interaction I had with that lady. Or I never go to a big game. I never do that without having that interaction I had with that lady. It's the single most important thing I've ever told in my life.
Wow.
That's
So it's
yeah,
it's
Crazy.
crazy.
that's incredible. It's crazy how people are in our life for just a brief second, but can be
Hmm.
so profound in what they say to you and how you absorb that. And then you use
Yeah,
it to in your life and your kids' life and everything else. And I think that's amazing. That's John, that's why I do what I do.
absolutely.
When I leave this planet one day, my whole goal in life is to leave a legacy and help as many people as I can be successful, whether it's in
Absolutely.
business, right? Whether it's, in sports or just life, just having a normal conversation, just a regular
Yeah.
conversation with somebody,
Yeah.
right? I believe it's profound. And I was,
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And I think about that when I go to my coaching. I always tell people, especially young people, they ask, what's my motivation? And I tell them, kinseys and weddings, right? I invite you to a day or a wedding unless they really love you,
that's true.
right? And so that's where I started with. And, and I was down and my wife and I was talking, and I kind of fell into a little bit of a trap. And what the trap was is you wanted to save people, right? You wanted to be this coach. You want to give every kid an opportunity. And so for the longest time, when we coach our club teams, um, I got kids that I feel like I got the most out of, but I didn't recycle my kids. So when we started our club career, my oldest my oldest daughter, we might have lost like two or three of those girls. Either they outgrew us, whatever it was. But we never cut anybody, but they had to leave us. And that being said, sometimes we didn't grow at the right rate. So people look at our growth as I wasn't a good coach or I wasn't dedicated to winning. But there's not one that I tell people like, look at your kid when they got with me and see how they are when they left me, right? But in our world today is if I'm not selling my soul to win, I'm not a good coach. You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't know if you remember the movie Blue Chips.
Oh yeah,
I love that
absolutely.
movie. Classic.
Yeah.
And I remember when Nick Nolte, yeah, he was sitting there going, what do I do? Do I do the right thing or do I do what everybody else is doing? And I struggle with that all the time. So to my goals, because no matter who you are, this world will change your views on things unless you have your foundation. I always tell people I don't go to the grocery store without a list because if I don't, I'm back with Twinkies, ho hos, potato chips, and all the stuff that aren't good for you, right? You go there, everything looks good at the grocery store, right? But I know I need to get this lettuce, I need to get these things that's gonna make my life. But they got those Twinkies I don't care what aisle I go to. I'm like, wow, I got back to the Twinkies. Like, what the heck? So um, you just always have your vision and vision. You can't deviate. And then sometimes it feelings hurt times, man. But it goes back to like you just said, those little snippets. I look at it as if I get 5 minutes of my life with you. Hopefully I can have an impact on your life. If that's what the path that the good Lord wanted to have 5 minutes with you, then I'm gonna give that 5 minutes everything I got. Hopefully I give you something that you can look forward to move forward with. So that's kind of my outlook on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Because you're right there, man. That's
yeah, John, there's a lot of things I didn't, I've only known you a little bit. Tommy's known you a long time, but just
yeah,
hearing that it's crazy. I know you're that type of person. I know what you give, right, to these
yeah,
kids and their families. And sometimes they don't give it back. And that's frustrating for me because that's one thing that I know that, I worked really hard with over the years is, just really helping these kids get to the next level. And I never got it back from them. And I don't mean I want something back. I mean that it just, they left me to go somewhere where they didn't develop. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you guys? Wait, is it me? And I'm like, no, I can't worry about that, right? We
no,
can
no,
talk about
and
that.
they'll come, and it's weird because it always seems like those kids will come back to you. And here's the thing. I've come to this is what kind of helped me to develop as a man to get better. As much as I want to work with them, they have the right not to work with me.
Yep.
So it goes back to me to just go, okay, God, I'm gonna give them. So I gotta be on alert. If I get them for 5 minutes, I gotta give them something in that 5 minutes. I gotta give them something in that 5 minutes, man, to make it. So have your plan and have yourself together and be ready, be prepared. Okay. So because you don't know how long you're gonna have them. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to impress you. I'm just me. And so, hey, I gave you what I got. Hopefully you learned something from me. If you come back, awesome. If you don't, I hope I impacted you enough to give you that. So that kind of helped me to not take it so personal, because I hate to say it, as much as this club thing should be something about developing and these kids growing, um, that's not it anymore. It's just it's the way it kind of matches the way the world is going. It's a dog eat dog world.
It is.
I'm
It's
huge
strong.
on. I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan, and people misunderstand what the Mamba mentality is. The Mamba mentality is to become the best version of yourself, not that you work yourself to the bone and do this and that. If that's part of the path of it, that's absolutely what you do. But
Yeah.
people did not understand exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's been one Kobe Bryant, right? So if your
100%.
kid's got that Kobe in it, it'll come out.
Yeah.
So I just think that they don't understand the whole concept, and they see the videos and the way we cut the videos up is that, Kobe did this, that he might have, but that was for his life, and he did it as a job. So your kid wants to do the best they can to become the best version of themselves. So we have to take time to understand what your kid is about. You need to take time to understand what your kid is doing and what's their goals. Because if you go in there and just shoot 5,000 baskets and you're not working on stuff at a high level, then you're kind of just wasting time.
Well, and
And
I think a
so,
lot of kids don't, they just maybe have the wrong people talking to them or telling them that this and that.
absolutely.
And I think that it kind of fills their head full of doubt, you know. And I'm like, well, listen, you can go in there and take, 150 swings and be tired versus taking 10 or 15 quality swings and not creating bad
Mhm.
habits. And they have no idea what I'm talking about, right? Because they
Yeah.
had a coach that wants them to do 20 fast swings really fast, back to back to back to back to back, and they get something from that. And I'm like, well, do you do that in the game? You don't.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
why are you working on that when that's not something you do in the game?
yeah, you're absolutely right, man. There's a lot of stuff out there because I tell people all the time, I'm progressive, man. I'm always trying to learn, and I'll steal from you all the time. I don't care if you're good at what you do, I'm going to steal it,
100
and I hope
without
people don't.
without a
That's
doubt.
my compliment. Yeah, absolutely. But then I look on there and I'm like, ooh, what is that good for? Like
Yeah,
that guy is like, But I said, hey, that's his hustle. I can't knock it. People look, the guy's got 25,000 million viewers or like, wow, that guy, I wouldn't do it for my kid, but hey, if that works for you, like who am I to knock your game? So
well,
yeah, it's a lot of stuff out there that's just doesn't seem real,
John,
man.
I'm telling you right now, we can have 10 hours of that. I could go off on, I mean, I cannot tell you how many times when Tommy and I are out recruiting, swear to God, man, we're out
Yeah,
there and these kids are on the tee and they're doing stuff. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? He's like, bro, that's
yeah,
what these guys do nowadays. And I'm like, they're not getting
yeah,
anything from that. And they're
yeah,
not developing their swing. They may be warming themselves up, but they're not developing.
yeah,
They're not doing
yeah,
anything that's going to benefit them in that game. Nothing. And he's like,
yeah.
yeah, dude, that's what they do. And I'm like, well, people are
Well,
just making
people
up
teach
shit.
these things nowadays, and I'm laughing, going,
Making up shit.
I mean,
Yeah.
just because somebody was successful doing something doesn't mean it's for everybody. I mean,
Well, and that's the
we,
thing,
we
man.
we
I
constantly
mean,
see that guy that teaches Aaron Judge. I'm like,
Teacher
listen,
ball.
not
Teacher.
everybody's 250,
He's
6'5",
like, he's
and
like,
doing
hey,
this. I mean,
we're
they
doing
can
this.
get
And I'm
away
like,
with
I'm
that.
striking your ass out at the knees every time and twice on Sunday.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy is just a different. I mean, you look at him; he is a freak.
Yeah.
Like when the good Lord gave out tools, he gave him a tool and a tool bag and a tool truck and a tool. I mean, that guy is unreal, man. I mean, if I was him, I'd walk around all day with my shirt off. Like I'd make everybody jealous. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, he's
and
a
he pops
specimen.
up,
He's a
dude. He
specimen.
pops up and he hits into the back of the Yankee Stadium. I'm like,
Yeah.
you forget that, you know, everybody else's fly ball is his ball. He's hitting in the middle of New York. So it's like, it's just different. So, one of
Well,
the things I teach kids is I don't tear your swing down. I want you to be comfortable in your swing, but I'm going to help you to do that. So, one of the things I fight is everybody who has the same cookie cutter swing because not everybody's body is the same.
Yeah.
I'm working with my daughter who's at Utah, and we're a lot of information on this guy. He's a strength and conditioning coach. Guy's awesome. I can't remember what school he's at. I have it written down, but he talked about the way your body moves. Some people are more in legs and some people more in their torso. And this guy's got a lot of like his data is incredible. And I'm just trying to get more on it so I can get a better understanding because like my daughter, we hit when she was in her legs all the time. And she got to Utah and they didn't really want her to be in her legs. And I was like, well, I'm not at Utah. And obviously these guys are getting paid a lot more than me. But I understand, but it was her journey to go there and kind of understand. But when we went full circle, there's data to show that we were doing it right, and that's okay. But and now she's got a great hitting. She had a great hitting coach. She got another great hitting coach, and all the information she's getting, I'm learning from her. What'd you guys work on today? Let's talk about this. Hey, tell me why you did that. And so I'm doing that. So I'm getting education and I talked to Tommy also. Hey, what are you guys doing in infield? What do you guys do for this? Give me some stuff. I need to steal. I want everybody's stuff. I'm trying to become a complete man, and the only way I do it is the people that I respect. I got to go and see what they're doing. You know what
no,
I'm
I
saying?
agree with that.
And a lot of young ladies. So
It's so funny, John. My freshman year in college, half our team was drafted, and I mean, we just
yeah,
did junior college. We beat the shit out of UW and all these deals. I mean, I'm not kidding you. It was a joke, right?
yeah.
And our
Yeah.
coach just found this hitting style from Oklahoma State. I'll never forget this. Tommy
Oh,
will
dude, Oklahoma
talk
State was
about.
legit then.
Well, this he said it's all from Oklahoma State. It's got to be legit. And what it was is you
Yeah,
drag your back foot
Yeah.
forward and you're out of your legs, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I
Frank
was not,
Thomas.
what's that?
Frank Thomas.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
But Freak Thomas is a freaking
Oh,
stud.
yeah. Well, and
I mean,
yeah,
and he's a big man. He can get
yeah,
away with some
yeah,
shit
yeah,
where, I didn't have his size, but I was not that guy, man. I was
yeah, yeah,
firm on my backside and I let it fly, right? And very
yeah,
successful. And I had to do that. And I swear to God, for the first 3 months in the fall, dude, I lost power. I lost everything. But I had to
yeah,
buy in to what this guy was trying to tell me because I'm at college, right? And
yeah, yeah,
I'm chasing the money. I'm chasing the money. And finally I
yeah,
was like, Coach, I mean, hey, I came in freaking hitting balls off, these parking lot cars, and now I'm freaking barely getting it out of the infield. What the hell's going on here?
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
just go back to your old shit. Just go back. And he literally let me, out of everybody on the whole team, go back to just doing me because
Well, and that's a blessing, though. When you got an old
and
time
it
coach
is
who has
because
the
it
guts
doesn't ever
to go
happen that
back.
way.
Yeah, no, those guys do it my way or beat it, and so we've
100%.
all
He was that
come,
way.
yeah,
Yep. Absolutely. But
that's pretty
I
cool.
was a student of the game though, too. So I mean, he and I went at it. We went
Yeah,
at
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
what I'm saying is, though, is that it can't be cookie cutter. Everybody can't swing the same. People have a fast twitch,
yeah,
people don't have a fast twitch, right? I mean, we're probably talking over some people's head right now, but what you said exactly is not everybody's going to swing the same. And you're going to go in there and you're not going to create surgery on a kid. You're going to go in there, you're going to fine tune the hell out of them.
yeah.
And you're going to
absolutely. And
make them
that,
put
what
it in.
the last thing I want to do is hit and not be comfortable. Like, you know
Correct.
what I'm saying? It's like, and I want you to be so prepared in what you're doing that we can get up there and just look for spots of balls and dry balls. And
Amen.
where
Yes.
where I think I help the most is, I mean, I can do that, but it's on the mental side, and that's one of the things that I've kind of cherished myself on, just understanding, making adjustments pitch by pitch. I'm a pitcher. I grew up as a pitcher.
Did we
And
lose
that's what I
him?
got drafted at. I know for a fact if I get you out on something way, I guarantee you it again. And so you better figure out, instead of being all bad and sad, because the game don't care and it'll run you over. We talk about, if you learn from every at bat, you never fail. The only time you fail is when you're
True
not winning.
that.
So get up there, make adjustments. So I get up there, gosh, you punch me out on 3 balls away. I got about 30 minutes to a half hour, depending on how the game goes. Then I better figure out a way to drive that ball away and get my barrel to it and drive it away. Um, it's kind of a funny thing. Me and my daughter this summer, she was hitting, and you guys, Taylor, she's super patient. And I was like, listen, you walk too much. I know it's valuable, but you walk too much. And I said, this is what we do. So I took home plate away. And I said, home plate is the biggest lie that's ever been told in baseball and softball. Because they tell us that we have to throw it over the plate for it to be a strike, and it's got to be this high, this high. I will watch. Sorry for you people out there, I'm a diehard Dodger fan. I'll watch the Dodger games. I'll watch this. All those teams I respect, and umpires miss it all the time. So what we did is we go, you know what? To take this guy out of the equation, we're gonna hunt pitches that we're successful at. You got to understand, as a pitcher, I'm trying to get you 0-1. So you're probably going to get the best pitch somewhere in the sequence early in the count to try to get you. So we're going to be hunting pitches that we can be successful. You may hit a ball up that's better. You may hit a ball that's down better. But we're going to hunt pitches that we're going to be successful, and we're going to take this guy out of the equation. And if it gets 0-2, we're going to either foul that pitch off or work. I don't care how good you are. At some point, you're going to either miss off or on. And when they do, you better not miss it.
So,
And
John,
so
let me
we
ask you a quick
talk
question.
intention about
So let me
pitching.
ask you a quick
Yes,
question.
sir.
Yeah, because I'm totally following you. So you already said your intro, you were drafted by the Royals. You were a pitcher, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you always try to throw strike one, or were you trying to throw ball one?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm getting ahead. I don't want to chase somebody. I'm a hunter.
No, no,
That's
no.
our logo.
I'm talking about as a pitcher. Were you trying to throw
Yes.
ball one or strike one?
No, strike one. I'm
Okay.
getting ahead.
So that's exactly my so I agree with you because my whole thing is, listen, the best pitch in softball or baseball is strike one, first pitch. If it's there, I
Absolutely.
mean, those pitchers are trying to throw strikes because they don't want to get into a long count. They don't want to walk you, right?
Listen,
And they want to get ahead.
and strikes.
Absolutely. So that's one of my big, and Tommy and we talked about this over and over and over again. And these kids that get into their head that first thing they start doing is taking pitches, right? Because they're not,
I
they
can't
can't figure it
understand
out.
it. It drives me crazy.
And here's the thing, like you got to educate the kids on how to be ready for it, right? So if you're the leadoff batter, unfortunately, it sucks unless you didn't get another time around. So you may see some pitches. I get it. Got to come back, tell the information, but be honest with your information. Don't be like, oh, she's okay, and she's throwing 72 and gassing you up. Come back, be like, it's firm. You better be ready to go. You know. But if I'm the second and third and fourth batter, we all have tendencies. I know if I throw the ball, now if you get those girls I can throw inside and out, you better pick something. You better go up there. But I'm going to do my research before I get out there. So if I'm on deck, I need to see what this girl's throwing. I'm going to take the information from the girl in front of me, but I'm going to get up there. I'm going to intentionally be understanding where she's throwing the pitches, what pitch she got, because we all have certain sequences that we kind of follow. So at least it gives you some like, if she's pumping first pitch strike, I'm going up there. Okay, she's first pitch strike away. Something belt high. I need to know I got to get my barrel above the ball and stay in the middle of the field. I'm going to drive this ball away. So you need to be prepared for the things that are on there. And instead of sitting on there, hey girl, hey, yeah. No, you better be doing the research. You better get your information while you're on deck. And then your teammate or whoever, if they walk or get out, they'll come give you more information. But you better have all the information and you better be ready to gun on first pitch. You have to be ready to go, man.
I agree with
tough.
you. It is tough. And that's one thing that we struggle with. And, Tommy and I, especially me, is when you're on deck, you're right, you're learning. And my whole thing is, when I'm teaching these kids or I'm instructing these kids and I'm trying to educate them, right, that we don't learn after the game. We learn per pitch, right? So if I swing and I fell the ball off and it goes to the right side, I know what I did wrong and I gotta make that adjustment. Maybe they're coming in hard on me and I'm just late to the ball. Maybe my foot's not down. There's a lot of things that to me, I want to teach these guys be a student of the game so they can make those adjustments during their at bat, not the next, right? I mean, video's good, don't get me wrong, but if I'm going to be successful, I need to make that change at my at bat.
Absolutely. And you need to be able to make adjustments. That's one thing that I've been very, very, very blessed with the group of girls I've had, over the success we've had at Canyon View is you may get through us once, you may get through us twice, but we're going to adjust. And it's really hard to get through our lineups 3 or 4 times. Like you got to change it. And so we face a lot of high quality girls and they've owned us for a minute, but I'm huge on neutral thinking. We don't panic. We need to take whatever the information is. We need to assess the situation and then go and make a plan based on that. No one cares. We don't make emotional decisions. When you make emotional decisions, you do things wrong. Absolutely. Stay focused on what's going on. Keep your mind right. Make adjustments based on what the game gives you. We're never competing against a team. We're competing against a game of softball. Whatever softball gives us, we will adjust and make it toward the game. So if I hit more than you and catch the ball more than you, I'm going to win. So the ball comes. We talk about third baseman versus third baseman. That's the game within the game. I need you to be the best third baseman on the field. You're the best shortstop. You're the best pitcher. And we're going to make adjustments in the game. So it's these little inner battles that we have. But then if you're down and you have a little bit of breath left, we're not done. And so I always tell the story. We that very first year we only had sophomores. This was the COVID year. And Cactus was like #1 in the state of Arizona and top 5 in like USA Today. And I'm like, God, and they were like, yeah, we'll play you, but you got to come to our field. And I'm like, well, we're so young, we don't even know. And so I went back and I found this, we're called the Jaguars. And there's this video of this jaguar walking through the jungle, right? I'm like, this is great. It's looking over this, like in this bush. You're like, what is this thing doing? And it jumps out of these trees into a lake. In the lake, grabs an alligator. Not
what?
Like, listen, an alligator is like a dinosaur to me, right? It grabs the alligator, gets it out, pulls up and eats it. I'm like, what? And ever since then, we have shirts. We're not being hunted. We're the hunters. And so we hunt. Every pitch, we hunt. We understand. We are go, go, go until we take. We are looking to clean up everything. Ground balls come, it's room service, baby. You put the ball on the ground and our infielders, that's room service. We're throwing you out. Your only chance is to hit the ball in gaps, and we got girls that can run, and we'll go get that too. And so we slow down the game. We understand. We might give up a hitter here or there. We might walk somebody. As long as we're not giving up cricket numbers, we can always come back.
Well, and
And so we're not
I will tell you, John, that any parent, any athlete that's kind of listening to this right now, listening to you
Yeah.
talk,
Yeah.
if they're not getting this type of coaching, they need to find it, because this is what we talk about, right? This is what Tommy and I stress. Tommy and I just had a conversation last night, about an hour and a half, about, him, just rebuilding two colleges, two teams, right? And kind of believing in buying into the Kool-Aid, the culture and the coaching style, and what you have every single day for these guys, and you're developing them, on the field and off the field. And I think that if they're not getting that, they have to get that. They got to find it somewhere. There's coaches
Well,
out there to do that.
and it is. Like I said, I'm so enthralled with the young people that I can't. I wish all my kids at school I coached them, so I wouldn't have to worry about anybody getting in, anybody else's tendencies. But those are the kind of things I think that sometimes help them when they go somewhere and go, Coach, I don't get this. And here's another thing. I tell my kids, don't be afraid to make a mistake, man. Because guess what? When you make a mistake, it's the only time I get to coach. If you don't make a mistake, I don't need to coach. So
Exactly.
I don't penalize people with running. We run a lot because I need you to be in shape. Don't be afraid to run. We're going to be in shape, right? And, dude, my girls are so goofy, man. These girls are so goofy and so good, right? I come in and I try to keep my man ways out of the way, right? Softball's a totally different game. I come in, I black on. I'm like, yeah, got the eye black on. Let's go. And then they throw glitter on top of it. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. And they give me the look. They give me a look like, Coach, we got you. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I gotta trust you. I mean, I can take you to California. I'll take you to Bullhead City. I try to get you the hardest schedule. All you guys have done is every year get the opportunity to pretty much play in the last game as possible with a chance to win a state championship. How do I not trust you? Right?
Well, I mean,
this is your high school. This is your 4 years in high school. Don't embarrass me, but I will let you be as free as you can. You guys are strong women. I trust you. Those are my superheroes. I show them that scene every year when Spider-Man and the Avengers. I'm a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. I love the Avengers. I love all those superhero movies. And I'm Peter Parker laying on the ground with the glove, right? And then all of a sudden, Captain Marvel flies over. Hey, Peter Parker. I'm like, hey, what's up? Need some help? And all these women pick up and they take care of me. They throw me on their back every year. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I got to make sure.
John, I mean,
they're
awesome. Yes,
they're
but
awesome,
that's coming.
Man.
I mean, that's coming from you. I mean, you're so damn humble that these people that are listening to this, are going to listen to this, don't really understand. Hopefully, they do. That it starts from the top down. So, when they say to you, wow, we don't get this coaching anywhere else. John, you've had different experiences in your life that most coaches have, right? And this is
I've been blessed, man.
But it's true though. But it's true. So
and let's talk about what you and I talked about, Tony, last night about, there's coaches out there, especially in the travel ball, that they're just collecting players. They're not even coaching anymore. They're just managing a game.
Well, and I don't think
that's the thing with John is that, and this is why him and I have been so connected, is that if I'm going to talk to anybody to go, hey, I need you to work with my kids in the off season, or hey, I need you to work these kids out for me. Outside of my own brother, I'm not talking to anybody but John. And that's why. And for me, I struggle when I see good athletes that are like going to play for some travel team and they're not getting any coaching. They're just on a team and with a bunch of studs and going, hey, we're winning games. Well, what's it doing for you though? Are you getting better? Are you getting yourself prepared to be at the next level? Because when they get to the next level, I talked about all the time, there's gonna be 4 or 5 of you. So now what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Who are you gonna call now?
Well, I'll tell you right now, man. When I remember getting drafted, man, and everybody was the best in their state. Everybody was in the best of their state, their school, their county.
Yeah.
And when I got there, everybody was big and they threw hard. And so what was going to make you different? All right. What were you going to do? And when all else fails, the only thing I know how to do was work, man. And so it's something internally, my high school coach, I remember him driving to school and this guy had no shoes on, he'd be watering the field and just took such pride in it.
Wow.
And so, this weekend myself, I drag the field and I just take so much pride. And I think about all the girls that have ever played in my school and how I want this field to be manicured for them. And sometimes it shoots me in the foot because we do club stuff on my field. And then they go in the weekend like, oh, coach, this field's terrible. I can't play on this field. Like, I'm not fixing the parks. All right. I'm not going to pick parks for you. I'll take care of KMU, but I can't fix parks. I'm not
Hey,
going to be short
pride of ownership. Pride of ownership.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so it's just, you have, I don't want to talk bad about those guys, but it's the parents need to understand what they want for their kids. And so, I think a lot of coaches are coming out and saying, listen, we want to win. And these parents fall in line with that. I try to stick on the other side. And like I said, sometimes those kids that I feel like I can develop a little bit more, I don't get them because they get completely enamored about winning. And so we won a little bit with my oldest daughter. And it was really cool, man. But you know what happened with all that winning is I stacked a whole bunch of USSSA and ASA trophies at my house that they're cool that we won. I got to take the picture and put it on Facebook. But I remember the first time that Lauren Thrasher dove for a ball and we jumped up and down. And I'm like, throw it in. Throw it in. And the girl catch with third of scores. I said, okay, that was a great catch. That's over. We accomplished that, right?
Yeah.
Next time we need to get up and throw it in, right? That was a great job. I remember her convincing her to dive for a ball, or the first time, that we hit our first home run, or we walked off and the girls didn't understand that. That's the kind of stuff that I value more than wins and losses.
Well, let's talk about that because,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, as a player, John and Tommy, you guys both could talk about this, but I remember playing, my Babe Ruth ball and all that stuff in baseball and all that, but I don't really remember the wins or losses, man. I don't. Yeah. I remember going to the cages and hitting after football practice and going to wrestling, hitting after wrestling practice and working on my game and trying to develop into the athlete that I was, right? And then taking that to the next level because all that work was to get me there. Those wins and losses, yeah, my losses helped me get better, right? Because obviously I didn't master the game and we lost as a team. It wasn't just me that lost, we lost as a team. Yeah. I can't control either, right? But that's what's kind of mind-blowing to me sometimes to really understand that these travel ball coaches, I know they're trying to get a name for themselves by we're going to win at every cost, but here's the cost. The cost is developing these kids and trying to get them to the next level because that's why they're there. The majority of them want to play in college, the majority, but they're not getting the opportunity.
I think where we lose our vision is this. People will tell you that they want to do something for you out of the kindness of their heart, but everybody has some kind of alternative motive.
Without a doubt.
Either you develop the kid or he's going to make it, and he's going to remember me at the game and give me a hug. But my whole thing is this. I'm going to be a part of your journey. And whatever the reward is that I get from you is going to be based on what you get from me. And so, my wife and I always talk, man, like you've been in my house before. If I invite you into my home, I can't tell you I love you enough because where my kids lay their head down. And anytime I need affirmation that I did something in the world, I got my jersey on the wall. I got my Royals pictures. Listen, but I'm old and ashy now, man. My time is gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anytime I need to be like, oh, it's good, I'll go look at a picture and be like, oh, you're good. But that's not my goal now. My goal is the development of human beings and what can I do to help these young people during this journey? Because, I hit with kids all the time and I said, you know how dumb we're doing right now? We're so dumb. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, you're in my backyard trying to hit a ball with a stick to run to the first base. If you get to touch all four, your parents and myself lose our freaking mind over it. This is weird. Like we are spending time. It's 100. Yeah. It's 185 degrees outside. You're sweating. I'm sweating. And we're trying to get you to hit this win. If you do it 30% of the time, you're fantastic. Like this sucks. And so guess what? When you're not doing well, you got to know that you're great.
Without a doubt. Right? That's the mental approach, right?
You have to.
That's what, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, there's been times you'd be like, man, that girl got so lucky today. She better hope you don't see me tomorrow. I'm gonna get her tomorrow. And you
Oh,
got to keep your mind down.
yeah.
You got to, because I tell you, if you get 4 hits, 0 for 4 is coming. So you better be able to handle it. It's coming. So you better be able to handle it. So there's days I'm like, hey, that was a terrible at bat. I still love you. But what did we learn from this at bat? You didn't see the pitches. You're swinging everywhere. Okay, now let's focus. So this girl, obviously you're not seeing the ball well. So let's see if we can get something straight that we can jump on early. Like let's have a plan. Don't just go up there because you couldn't hit with an or tennis racket that time. So let's go up next time and do this. And listen, my daughter gave up home runs. When I walked out there, I was like, man, damn, if you're gonna give it up like that. That was no doubt. It didn't barely make it over the fence. I mean, she hit in the trees. But what are you gonna do with the next pitch? Right? The next pitch better be a strike. We don't bow down to no one. I need you to get refocused, get back to neutral, and get refocused on the next pitch. I can't do nothing. I can go get the ball. They're probably gonna give it to her parents because she hit it really far. Right. So the next pitch better be a strike. What do you got? What's in your DNA right now? Are you gonna hunt or are you gonna all of a sudden turn around and be right? Because when all else fails, we're gonna go home and lights are gonna be on, and I'm gonna feed you dinner. This is no stress. This is something you signed up for. Let's become the best version of ourselves with the softball player we can. Mental up, get your mind right. Let's get after it. You know,
John,
and I think that's the components that people,
you don't
they
get.
kind of miss on.
Yeah. So what do you, I mean, I already know this answer, but what's the difference between you and, these other travel ball coaches that are out there that you're playing against week in and week out? What's the difference between you and them?
That's a tough one for me, man. I want to say it's our goals, like, right? I want to say that their goals are different than mine. I'm hoping that's what it is. But it also it's a time out there right now where I think that especially in Arizona, God, we have great weather, even though it's a little bit hot. It's so saturated with everybody has 2 or 3 girls that are really good, and then everybody else is kind of building it. And I don't know if people are developing those kids. So the difference is that's a tough one, man. I can only kind of go, and I know that I want to develop. And like I said, I still kind of fall in that trap where I take kids and I know I can get the best out of them. And their growth isn't as much as everybody wants or thinks they need to be a Division I girl. So they measure me as not being as successful. But I taught this girl how to hit, I taught her how to field, I taught her all this stuff, and she did improve. But she didn't improve enough, meaning that I wasn't as successful as a coach. That's what they're thinking. But I tell the parents all the time, hey, how was your kid? We got a girl, Iris. I love this girl. I remember front tossing her balls and saying, get it off the dirt. I don't care if it rolls off the dirt. I don't care. Get it off the dirt. Right? Listen, this young lady is now hitting balls off the fence. Right? And she ain't much bigger than when she was when she started, but we've been working and working and working. Now, you might not see the value in that, but that's incredible for me. And that young lady's blossomed. Now she's a cheerleader. Now she's doing other stuff at school. And so not only is she better, but she's more confident. You understand what I'm saying?
Well,
So
yeah, and
the
she's gonna
message
take
is
that.
way deeper.
Yeah, and she's gonna take that into her life too, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's where a lot of people miss what you're saying
Yeah.
right now, because I can
Yeah.
wrap it up and say, listen, John, the difference between you and the guy down the road is that you're all about the development of the players after especially when they leave you and they go to the next
Yeah.
level or they go into their life, and, because it's profoundly affected you in your life, and that's what you're
Absolutely.
giving back. That's what I think, but am I
Well,
wrong?
I also think it's really sad.
Like I said, I still chase those demons of Big Mike Sweeney, Terry Roach, Bill Blum, Bob Sheehan, um, Coach Mendez, Coach, oh my God, I'm missing some. Oh, Coach Marcos, those guys all impacted me. Even my Goosen and Fred, all these guys taught me so much, man. And my mom didn't have the means, man, but these guys always made sure I was taken care of. I don't know what it was. I'm hoping that I was that good that they had to make sure I was around. But they were giving me tidbits from a guy not having his father around. I saw how Big Mike treated his wife, and I wanted to treat my wife that way. It was
Yeah.
all these things that I was always able to observe. I was always learning. And so I was thinking neutrally before I even knew what neutral thinking was. I was always trying to see what was going to be around me to make me better. My sixth grade teacher, Miss Roach, took care of me multiple times, man. This young lady, I mean, when I struggled with school, her and my mom got together. I couldn't leave school until I finished all my homework, man. This lady got me right academically. So she
Love it.
cried with me on the phone when I got my degree in college because she knew my struggle. So it's unfortunate that people didn't have the upbringing I had. Um, and it's really weird because some people would say I was unfortunate because I didn't have some of the things that other people had. But the good Lord put so many positive people in my life that I'm like, dude, I had no choice but to win. I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
no choice but to
Yeah.
win. It's
yeah.
weird, man. So now I'm chasing those demons, and I shouldn't say demons like that. I'm chasing the greatness of the people that are put around me, and I'm not trying because we always talk about that word trying. I am doing my best to implement those things that I got in my
To
life
live
for
up,
younger.
to what
Yeah,
they gave
yeah.
you,
And
right?
and and it's tough, man. Like I said, I got some great people I've been around, man. And to this day, I still call them and they pick up and they talk to me and I'm still learning from them. So that book continues, man, and it's pretty cool.
There's nothing
So
wrong with continuing your education, whether,
no, no, man.
we can always learn. I learn from kids all the time. All the time.
No, dude, yeah, all the time, dude. Trust me. And it's just I'm fortunate, man. Like I said, I'll be 52 years old. Not to be like we talked about football. I mean, the baseball, the football. I mean, like think about it. I'm a black kid from Los Angeles, California, with a single mom, right? I had six siblings. Um, I played two professional sports. I'm,
Which
uh,
is rare. It's very
yeah,
rare.
and I think I did close to 60 commercials. I'm part of the Screen Actors Guild. And so it's so many
That's
different
cool.
things, but I'm
Yeah.
a true believer in if you get an opportunity, that whole thing, when one door shuts, another door opens. I tell people when one door shut, kick the whole damn wall down. Just kick the wall down. Don't even worry about going through a door. Just kick the wall down. And so when people come to me and say, "Hey, can I do this?" I'm the wrong person to ask that because there's not too many things I've done in my life. Dude, I got a kid that's struggling. I got a master's degree in secondary education, man. I've been teaching now for 20 years. I hated school. You kidding me? I went into the belly of the beast,
It
and
wasn't
I'm
my favorite
like,
thing
what?
either. No.
Yeah, I'm like, what I
No.
went into the belly of the beast. I've been here for 20 years. So I don't know if I'm any good at it, but hell, I figured out a way of being around it for 20 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I just don't believe that there's nothing that you can't do, but it also has to be given to someone the right way. We
Well,
talk about two things. The two
yeah.
things you can control is your attitude and effort. I won't get on you, man. I watched the Dodgers the other day get smoked 14-3, and they didn't look good. But the only thing that you can control is your attitude and your effort. I'm gonna get on you that. You want to yell, you want to see me yell? Feel sorry for yourself or jog down the line and disrespect the game of softball or baseball. I'm gonna be on you. Those are the things you can control. Now, you kick a ball here or there. I love it. Let me see what you got after that. What are you going to be? Are you going to put your head down? Because if you do, I promise you the next 45 balls will be hit to you, and your mama won't even let you in the car when you get in there. You got to walk home. You know what I'm saying? I get one. If you miss 45 in a row, you're walking. Ain't no dinner. You know what I'm saying? You can eat that old corn dog you had last night. You're going to heat it up in the air fryer. I get nothing.
Oh, that's funny,
Listen,
man.
okay, but we need to make sure that you're mentally strong and ready to to move forward, man. Mistakes are part of life, man.
Yeah.
It's
Just
we just talked about that. I mean, last night, and
yeah.
we know the game's very fallible, the most fallible sport in the world,
Oh
right?
God, it's terrible.
I mean, it's terrible, and mentally, it just crushes people, right? And
Hmm.
that's why a lot of people don't climb the ladder because of the mental piece of it.
Yeah,
But that's something that we're really big on. I know you're big on that as well. But Tommy,
yeah.
what else? What else do you have for John? I know that we got a million
Yeah.
different things
No, I
we can
mean,
ask you. We could talk to you for hours.
yeah, we could do this for
Yeah,
days.
so I'm a
Um,
goofy dude, man, but I'll give you what I got. This is me.
I kind of want to get back to just the travel, ball, the recruiting piece, because, there's a lot of misconceptions out there with parents and athletes. And you've seen it where you're in the hotbed of Arizona where, recruiting and, a lot of I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm sure it's a pretty big percentage of the kids in that state go to the next level in sports outside of California. But, you know,
Yeah.
what, from what you're seeing and what's out there, what's the pros and cons? What do you think is important for these kids to learn about the recruiting process? What are you teaching your kids to be seen?
Well,
Because I know at your high
think
school you had a ton of top athletes, a ton.
I think everybody needs to be educated on what's going on.
Yeah.
And once again, the landscape's going to change with college softball again because the whole next year with scholarship stuff going on, no one knows how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Then you got the portal. You got the portal, which is like ridiculous. And then you got kids that we talk about. Some of our kids that say, "Hey, you want to go to UCLA? Okay, well, you might want to think about going to a school that UCLA is plucking people out of, right? So it may not be, unless you're that top 1% of the 1% of the 1% that goes to Oklahoma or UCLA, you're a
Yeah.
no-brainer, you get there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kids that are going in the portal for a year or so and then hopping out.
Or
So
not,
instead of
or not coming out.
Yeah.
Or not coming out.
Yeah. And so once again, instead of us panicking on this day, you need to understand where your goal is. And we tell them, like our kids, I go, I want you to pick your top Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, all these schools, and we're going to contact all these people. Now, the number one thing we need to do, because the thing that helps me the most with all this sports, man, 90% of my life has been based around sports, right? But the one thing that I did is I used sports to give me my education, which those things I got on my wall can never be taken away from me now. My undergrad and my master's degree is always going to be there. So we need to figure out what you want to do, because this window is going to be there. And hey, you might be able to do it for 20 years, but eventually it's going to be over. And even if it's not over, you go into coaching, we still need to have the education, or you're going to be doing a rec guy or something like that. So you need to understand what your goal is, and also have the guts to understand if you start this goal this way, it's okay if you want to alter it as you get more educated on something. I went into Baker as a business major, and Dr. Green kicked my butt. I was like, I don't want to do this. This is whack. I don't want to. All I wanted to do was have a nice watch and a nice suit on and be in some kind of meeting. I didn't even know what the meeting was for, right? I just wanted to be that cool guy. It looked good. Nice shoes on, nice suit with a watch, right? But I did take intro, and some of those things I'm using now because we have properties that I've kind of used those business laws that I learned, but that was still part of the education that I got. So I did get some value out of it. I just didn't want to be a full-time business guy, so I had to have the guts to make the change into something that was going to be like, hey, you're not going to make as much money doing this. Well, my life is a little bit different than yours. I'll find a way. Money's not hard to make.
Yeah.
If you live your life right. I made more money when I stopped worrying about money. Tell people all the time.
So John,
just be smart about it.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. And I know I already know the answer to this, but I want you to talk about it.
All right.
What do you think the percentage is that you work with kids that are either at your school or on your summer team versus not at your own home when you're out doing hitting lessons to the midnight, Monday through Sunday?
Wait, say that again. I didn't say it again. Say it again.
What percentage do you think kids that you're working with that are not in your program, high school or travel? I mean, what do you think that percentage is, and why you think that is?
Oh, it's a high percentage. I don't know what the number is. So the kids that my high school that I'm not working with, you're saying?
The kids that are that are at another program, but they're coming to you for hitting.
Oh yeah, that's funny. I do got quite a bit. Like the kids that come to me and like I always say, I feel like you date me in the dark. You come to me and work with me in the dark, and then you go out and you work. And, yeah, it's like you say you date me in the dark.
You're the side piece.
Yeah, man, I'm saying I'm the side chick. You know what I'm saying? And they come there, and the parents will be like, say, "Hey, you should play for me." Oh, no. I come see you, but I can't really. Okay, well, great. And I think that goes back to the perception of I don't win enough, because I don't want to say I care too much, because I think everybody cares. I don't win enough because I don't recycle some of my kids. We've only recently started having tryouts. And Taylor is a junior in college right now, man. And so her team was kind of set, and that's one of the misconceptions too, that I gave up on our girls. But honestly, we kept our numbers low. And when Cheyenne Ben kind of tore ACL, we didn't have a shortstop. And so we had to make adjustments. And that's why that Batbuster team that we had that started from Fusion that went to Batbusters, we had to disband because we were just we were bleeding and I was putting a Band-Aid over it. And so I think it goes back to that whole conception or that misconception that I don't want to win. I want to do these things. That's the furthest thing from truth. I want to win right. And I want kids to understand the development of it all.
Yeah.
And
but John, real quick,
yeah,
just because you're on that,
yeah,
we talk about winning, and then you know
Mhm.
what the misconception is about, you know, you wanting to win or you wanting to develop. What would you rather do? I mean, would you rather develop an athlete or win the game?
I think develop an athlete because when you develop an athlete, their future is longer.
You're going to win games too.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like you know how many girls, and you could call them on this, how many girls after high school that are like, oh my God, I don't want to go back to the club. Funniest story ever. So we're in the dugout. All the girls are like, oh my God, I don't want to go back to the club. And three girls go, I'm ready to go back to the club. And I was like, what the heck? And I was like, wait a second. And it was the three girls that were on my Batbuster team. And I was like, wait, what happened? They go, because we play on the Batbusters. And now they're younger kids, and their role was they weren't starters, and they were getting at bats here or there. And they're like, I get this cooking all the time, but I play when I'm in club. These other girls, you know, whatever the mental, whatever we do, and they enjoy the high school stuff. It's kind of funny because they're like, oh, I don't want to go at the club, and then, you know, it have the other side going, I'm ready to go at the club because I get everything I'm getting here, plus I get all the time on the field. It was kind of a weird. I was like, oh well, you know, kind of threw me for a loop. So yeah, man, it's this whole club thing. It
I think it's
challenges
got out of
me.
hand. I think it's got out of
It's
hand, John. I think it's got out of hand.
I think sports are getting out of hand, honestly. Like it's
Wow,
crazy
I
right
agree
now.
with that too. It's
Yeah,
soft.
I'm just like, I'm like, yikes, you know, it's tough, man. It's this business is going. I mean, you have all the West Coast schools now that are in the Midwest playing. Like, it's a like I don't even know what to say, man. I look at the Big 12 had the thing up there, and it was 8,000. You can't call it the Big 12 no more. It's gonna be like the Big 24. They got to change the name.
Yeah, yeah.
It was weird. And I'm
Well,
concerned about my daughter this year when she goes
yeah,
somewhere and
yeah.
she got to be
That's
in class on Monday. You know, she's a high educated girl, and she cares about her grades. And you know, it's times I want to talk, and she's like, "Dad, I got to study." I'm like, "I get it. Get after it, girl." So just want you to know your
yeah.
dad loves you, and you're okay. You know.
Yeah,
So
I will tell you that, you know, that's one thing I struggle with. You know, coach, and I hated calling it travel ball, right? Or daddy
yeah,
ball or whatever you want to call it, because
gotcha.
we you know, we played in tournaments, but the only reason why we played in these tournaments was to make sure what we were doing, and how having these guys develop, right? We could
Yeah,
actually see, hey, listen, are they developing now? You know, we're doing all this training, we're doing all this work, but you know, we're you know, they're facing these pitchers, and they're, you know, they're running, they're doing the base, they're doing everything that we taught them to do, but are they doing it at another level, right? Are they getting
yeah,
better when
absolutely.
they're doing it, right? And
Yeah.
so we never really care. I mean, obviously, you can't say you don't want to win, because we want to win everything we play at. 100%. That's the athlete in me,
Absolutely.
right?
Don't get that
But
twisted. When I go out there,
yeah,
I mean, from the way I dress, dude, to the way I'm trying to look better than you. Don't get
dude,
it twisted. I'm trying to look
I'm
better than
cleaning
you.
my
I'm trying to
shoes.
deserve it. Yeah,
I'm
that's
cleaning
it,
my
man.
shoe. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, when I'm out there, I'm coming after your throat. I was one of those guys that got up to bat and I was talking shit out of my
yeah,
mouth to the pitcher, because
yeah,
you know what I mean. But when
yeah.
I'm
No, I got you.
when I'm developing these kids and we're playing in these tournaments or whatever, you see these coaches just going absolute ape shit on you know, third base, and yelling at the umpires and doing all this stuff, and I'm like, no. I mean, no,
Yeah,
you can't control these guys. Number one. Number two, this is your example that you know, that you're giving to your kids out here. These guys, you know, they don't, you know, they're learning right from wrong, right?
yeah,
And all they know is what they see on a daily basis or a weekend basis with you. And my whole thing was, listen, we're gonna get out there, we're gonna beat some ass, and if we don't, we don't. but we're going to learn
Yeah.
from what we didn't do, right? And that's how I'm going to develop you, because if this isn't the end goal, our end goal is, listen, if you have a goal to play in college and get your education, you go and do it. If you can offset your cost, do it. But this is how we're going to do it, right? And so
Well, and one of our messages to our girls is, I need you to use this sport because it's going to use you. Right? It's fun. It's going to use you up. And so we talk about development as like everything we're doing is we're studying for tests, right? You do all the studying during the week, and a test, you have little sub tests, in your tournaments, and we'll evaluate and see how you did.
Yep.
And how's your growth? Well, then you have a big test at the end of 4 years. So that 4 year development is where we're going to do to get you to the next level.
That's your
That's what
capstone.
we're shooting for. So everything
That's your
else
capstone.
is in the middle. Yeah, that's the middle of you developing the school we can get you. So that's our goal. Where are you gonna be 4 years from now? And so sometimes people are, I want to go to college. Well, you're not doing it tomorrow. All right. So we might as well put this plan together. We talk about the grocery list. I don't go to the grocery store without a list because I come back with bad things. When you just show up and go through the motions and don't have a plan, you go through bad things. Fortunately for me, my wife has been, she put UCLA, and UCLA has alumni everywhere. So recruiting information I want to get, I have that being a coach, that a lot of people will let us know, how things go. And I try to do that. And I try to stay current on everything, but it changes daily. And these kids got to understand, and the parents have got to understand. And not everybody's going to be a D1 kid. And there's still a lot of really good softball out there that is not at the D1 level. And you can still have an incredible career. And there's girls that didn't play D1 that are still playing professional sports now.
Yeah.
So you don't know the Lord has the path.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I mean, right? You NAIA, people can say what they want about
Absolutely.
NAIA. There's some NAIAs out there that beat the hell out of some D1s. There's some juniors that beat the hell out of some D1s. It's not, to me, it's not about the level, right? It's about where you can go play, be successful, break records, right?
Well, and develop, right? So you don't know if you don't get fully developed, you'll never know what your full potential is. I mean, you gotta remember, I was a big kid in high school. I was 6'2" or 6'3" in high school. One of the biggest kids in school, never played football. And then I grew 3 inches after high school. Like I remember going to a reunion, they're like, dude, you're really big now. You're big, you're really big. And I was like, I don't really know. This is what I see. I don't know. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow. So you don't know unless you get fully developed, right? So you need to go somewhere and to continue to develop. And part of I did this with our girls the other day, right? And they're like, "Oh, coach, I've been out there. I'm working hard." I said, hey, what part of the game do you guys think is mental? Oh, 80-90% mental. I said, yeah, I think you guys are right. 80 or 90% mental. That's a lot. I said, so what did you do, coach? I hit off the tee. I took ground balls. I said, sweet. So you worked physically. Right? Yeah. So what did you do mentally? Well, what do you mean? Well, you just told me that was 90% mental, but you worked 100% on the physical portion of it. What kind of sense does that make? Like you just told me. Like, wait, what?
Oh.
So you're going, I just gave you a stock tip and you bought the wrong stock. Right?
You're buying a scratch off. I give you a stock tip, you buy a scratch off.
Yeah. So I'm like, what are you working on? Like you don't come prepared. You're coming to take a test and you're not prepared.
Yeah.
Be mentally strong. You have to understand what's going on. Tell me, hey, I worked on understanding what accounts are. Where am I going to hunt this first base? These are different things that you got to be mentally prepared. What did you work on? Did you take that ground ball and you missed it? Okay, how did I miss that ground ball? Did I not continue to move through the ball? What is it? Mentally, you got to be sharper.
Yeah.
And that's what like a lot of people don't get that portion of it, man. And it's like, I don't know what makes me tick like this, man. This is just part of my DNA. I think I have a little bit of a gift to look at certain things a certain way. I've been through a lot of different things. I got multiple friends that are, Bobby's the hitting coach for Atlanta Braves. My boy Gonzo is the hitting coach for the Guardians. I always want to say Indians, the Guardians. I got Jeff Blum, one of my buddies. I grew up in a home run for the White Sox. I talked to him. Mike Sweeney. I got these people that when I ask them questions, which I'm not I'm perfect. Give me a second, I'll probably trip walking out this door, but I'm not afraid to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to educate it with people that I know that have either been on my level or above it, and they always embrace me because they know, and they always tell me like, there's something about you and kids, your interaction. They listen. So I was like, that scares me because now that means I got to make sure my information is right. Last thing I want to do is be steering kids in the wrong direction, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
but
I
and
try
you're
to stay
not.
current on that.
And you're not. And
Yeah,
you're not. I mean, you're
yeah,
spitting out of your mouth what you believe, and that's what
yeah.
counts, right? And that's what counts. And
What you see is what you get, man. This
yeah,
is John Jacobs. I think a lot of times I also get the misconception of just I'm a big person, man. I'm 6'5". I'm not 300 anymore. I'm like 270. I think I'm 270. I don't know. Depends on what the day the sauna makes me. I'm 269, 270 in there somewhere. But I used to get deemed as a hothead, but I wasn't a hothead. I went to the umpires because you have to be accountable for what you're doing. Because
Well,
if I have an understanding what's going on, you need to
yeah.
have an understanding. I work in my
Well, and
coaching,
it's
and you're
perception.
not getting better.
It's
Yeah, and
perception.
so it is what it is,
yeah.
and
It's
I'm
all
okay with
perception.
that. Yeah, you can talk to me all you want and say whatever you got. Just don't do anything bad to my kids.
No,
And
man,
I'm okay with
I agree with you. I got a question for you though, right? This is
Yes,
something
sir.
that came up in Tommy and our conversation again last night. And
Yeah,
it's something that we both struggle with on a daily, especially when we're out recruiting.
yeah.
What can you give us your feedback on what you think about parents coming to the dugout during one of your tournaments, your games, and how do you deal with those parents, right? And how do you deal with those overbearing parents where they just don't shut up and they're screaming and
Well, they
yelling at
do.
kids and they're not the coach? How do you deal with them?
Yeah. So there's two things we do. For one, I'm there to coach your kids. And I tell the parents all the time, man, you guys are awesome. Don't get me wrong. But if I never talk to you again, I don't care. Not trying to be a jerk. I'm here to elevate your kid. Like seriously, your kid is what's important to me. For the rest of your life, if your kid needs something, I will get up in the middle of the night and I will go get them. Right. So we can do this one or two ways. I need you to understand that I have 2 hours to try to brainwash your kid and being great as they can possibly be. I don't need you saying something spurting out negative stuff, right? And do me a favor, let's work together to see if we can elevate your kid as high as possible. So in the car, if she goes 0 for 4 or 4 punch outs, yeah, I'm not really wanting you to bring that up right now. Let's state the obvious. I didn't go 0 for 4 so I can get in the car and have you hem me up in the car, right? Like, hey, what are you gonna tell me? I went 0 for 4. I was there. I lived it. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes you don't have to beat a dead horse. So you guys are as important as part of the development. As far as coming to dugout, get your kid what they need before they get in the dugout.
100%.
If they run out, you need to drop some water, we'll get the water. But we're not coming there, you're not carrying your kids' bags. We're not doing that. Your kid is grown and they can carry their own bag. And first of all, the bag is probably $250 at least because all these bags are designer and they're more Gucci than everything. And so I just think there's a time that you let your kid just be a parent, sit back and enjoy it. You
It's
know,
their journey
when I
anyway,
go see
right? I
my
mean, it's their journey.
yeah, yeah. When I go see my son, man, people think I'm not very social. Though I either have an ebook in, I just want to see the kids be pure and play. I don't, hey Johnny, keep your head down. Yeah, what? Like your 30-second tutorial in between pitches isn't gonna help that kid right now. If anything,
No.
it's gonna drive up there
Oh, it's gonna piss them off. It's gonna piss them
yeah,
off.
just be a parent, man, and enjoy it. Work on it another day. How many times
Be a
we've gone
fan.
out and had dinner,
Be a
and I
fan.
say, you want to talk about it? No. All right, well, we'll talk about it another day. I just think you got to give parents directions and they've got to follow directions just like the kids. And if
So
they
what
respect
happens?
you,
So what happens if they're not following directions? Do they stay long on
dude,
the
I put some parent restrictions before. I've made them go to the center field. You gotta
really?
go, bro. You gotta
Really?
go. Coach, gotta go, man. You gotta get on the center field. Take your stuff, your wagon, go sit outside and watch it. I don't want to hear
Yeah,
nothing
you used to
else.
have a picture like that. That her dad was that way.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, so we had one guy. We had one girl that was a shortstop, right? And love this girl. She's awesome. And I took her out of the game once. We're killing this team. So dad came up and was like, "You're gonna take the shortstop out of the game." And I thought he was playing. I thought he was completely playing. And he's looking at me like mad. I'm like, well, first of all, you guys go on vacation whenever you want. And then I got to take the center fielder who's never played and put her shortstop. You throwing the whole game off. So I'm getting some girls some in-game reps. So if you do go on your vacation, I have someone at least knows what they're doing. They goes, well, all the parents out here think that you're being unfair. I said, okay, so this is what we're doing. After the game, we will address it. And they're like, okay. So I go out there and I say, okay, great. How you guys doing? Everybody's like, oh, we're doing fine. I said, cool. I said, so it's come to my attention that you guys have concern with the way I'm coaching some. They're like, wait, what are you talking about? I said, he came to me and said that some of you guys are unhappy about it. I said, so we can do this one of two ways, right? We can disband the team and you guys can have your own team and we'll do trials over. But tonight we're going to figure this out. We're not going forward. I'm not going to be walking on eggshells thinking about this and that. We need to make sure that this all gets handled tonight. So here's your opportunity to talk to them. And they're like, wait, what? Who said what? Wait, we didn't say nothing. I go, my guy right here just told me that. We're not with him. We don't know. I said, oh, he was, coach, that's not. I said, that's exactly what you told me. So if you're going to throw everybody in here, we need to have a grown people conversation. We send all the kids away and we need to figure out what's going on with the kids. So you're either going to buy into what we're doing or you have the right to leave. These are the two opportunities that you have. Oh, okay, coach, I didn't mean it like that. I said, yeah. I said, so instead of you making an emotional decision, you need to sit and think about it before you walk up. And it's when you got to sometimes coach parents.
Well,
But
you're absolutely right. And I think that a lot of coaches are afraid because they're going to pull their kid, or they're going to, they're going to lose their money, or they're going to, they're going to have to recruit another kid or whatever. So they kind of have them by the cojones.
but you can't coach afraid because you'll cater to that kid.
Not
You
at
need to
all.
coach everybody. And here's the thing. I remember watching this show and it had Red Auerbach. And listen, I'm a Laker guy, right? But this guy, Red Auerbach, is good. And it was not Will Chamberlain, gosh darn it. I can't think of his name. Bill Russell. Bill Russell, they said, sitting in the bleacher reading the paper, and he's like, one guy goes, man, why does Russell get to sit in the bleachers? He said, well, when you do what he does, you can sit in the bleachers too and read the paper, right? So you cannot cater to you got to coach. And I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I treat everybody the same. Listen, I do my best to have an understanding of each one of my players and what makes them tick and what makes them not tick. Some kids I can get on, some kids I can't, right?
That's
So
right.
one of the things I do it, and what I'm trying to do is, and I've talked to multiple women that understand softball. I feel way better than me, and I said, I need to understand how to challenge young women to get better, but not abuse them, but also not to take them too lightly. It's a fine line, man. I'm not trying to ruin
fine line. Yep.
I'm not trying to ruin young ladies, but I'm also not being, hey, Sugarfoot, come here. And no, I want to challenge you to get better. So what do I need to do to keep my man ways out of this? Right.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time that there's a lot of man ways coming into this pure game of softball over the last 10, 11 years. Is it good for the game? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure that out, but I do want to keep this a purest woman's game and challenge them to get better at it. Yeah.
And I agree.
So
on both sides of the
I don't
ball,
know.
men and women.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you.
And so a lot of that, some people, we had some kids try out for our team. We needed somebody. We had a couple girls come out and work out, and the mom told me I was too nice. And I said, ma'am, I'm 6'5", I'm 300 pounds. I don't really think I need to be intimidating. I need this girl to kind of embrace her, challenge her to be better. But hey, I'm just not your cup of tea. I get it.
And the thing, that's just it, is it's not always a good fit all the time, right? And that's
absolutely
okay.
And you also can't be afraid of that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, my whole thing is, if you're with a coach and you're not getting better, it's not a good fit. You got to find a coach that you're gonna get a good fit with. That's
but some people like it. Some people love a name, man. Some people love a name, and they will, you can see the Titanic going down, but you're gonna sit there and wait, and next you know, the raft, all your life preserves gone, and you're in the ocean by yourself.
100%. Without a doubt, it happens all the time. Without a doubt, all the time. So with these parents, right, and kind of setting precedents, I'm sure at the beginning of the season, you're sitting down with them and making sure that, hey, you have contracts for them. How does that all work? Or is
Well,
it?
our bat buster has a code of conduct that's right on point, man. It's pretty good. Whoever did that one is right on point, and it makes it pretty clear. And so what I try to do is, we just expanded our bat buster program. I'm going out being uncomfortable. We're doing a 12, 14, and two 16U. And we're building it up, and we're doing it the right way, where we're building with kids and parents. And in the next week or so, I'm getting everybody together, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to say, here's what the expectations are. And it's not just my way, it's the bat buster way. And we're going to do it this way. And we're going to live by this. This is non-negotiable. This isn't John Jacobs' rule. These are our bat buster rule. And now here's a couple I'm going to throw on top of it that we're going to handle ourselves this way. If you get buy into it, I get it. It's not made for everybody. But if you tell me you're going to do it, then we're going to follow the rules, and I'm going to follow the rules, and we're going to follow the rules together and see how high we can elevate these young folks.
Yeah.
It's not about you. If you know you can't go to a place and drink and not be kosher, then I advise you not to drink, because your consequences are going to be, it's you. So if you get that liquor courage and you can't stay muzzled, there's consequences to it. But I want you guys to understand what those consequences are, because this organization has given me the opportunity to carry this bat buster name, which is really good when it comes to softball. I'm trying to hold up my end of it. The last thing I want to do is put a black eye on it. You know what I'm saying? So I take it serious. I'm a loyal person. And I appreciate when people give me the opportunity. And so I'm going to do the best I can to uphold the values of what we're doing in our bat buster program.
Good. That's awesome.
So they got no rules.
Tommy is, he was telling me about that. And I really think that TAC college recruitment and the bat busters need to have a nice little marriage, is what I'm thinking. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about that later. But
Yeah.
Hey,
So, I'm with you on
kind
that.
of like one of these right here. Hey, I need one of these right here. Yeah.
I got you. Future's bright, brother.
Anyway, so hey, let me ask you a question. So when you're out there on the field and you're either playing against a team or it's one of your players on the field and they have bad body language, how do you deal with that? Are you okay with it?
No. I communicate.
Bad body language.
You got to understand what's going on, first of all, right? And there's certain I don't need to come yell. I need to understand. What's up? Are you good, kid? Well, yeah, coach. You're not walking like a confident girl right now. You're not walking like a superhero. You walk like superheroes, man. What are you talking about? Was you good? Do you need to talk to me? Because that's what I'm good for. I can get you out of any funk. Are we ready to go today? Right? You get an opportunity. We got test day today, right? Let's get on it. Let's hit balls. Let's do what we got to do. Let's drive it. A lot of times, oh, my parents were late. And it's okay. Guess what? That's over with, man. We got an hour and 50 minutes, an hour and 60 minutes to have fun. Nothing free. Then we probably get to go eat some dinner. How cool is that? So right now, this is something. Look at the sun shining. We could be somewhere with a blizzard right now. You blessed. You didn't even know it, man. You better get on this. Let's get after it. You got to get your mind right, because this game will spit you out. You sit there. I tell kids all the time, if you think you suck, I guarantee you the game will let you know that you suck. I promise you. And it will not be fun.
Yeah.
So you better get your mind right. If your mind is not right, this is the most difficult game to play in the world. I promise you.
Yeah, and the only reason why I say that is because I know that, a big thing for college coaches, and they see that they're really high on a player, and then all of a sudden something happens and they just can't get out of it, right?
Yeah. And I tell them all the time, you never know who's watching, man.
You never know who's watching. We just talked about
Never know. It could be you could have a kid playing against this girl and be like, man, this girl's legit. And go, I'm gonna write something down about her. And then the next night, oh man, did she just do that?
Yeah.
And you know how it is. Once a coach thinks that I love the word cancer. Oh, that kid's a cancer. Like, what? Like, that's like the worst thing in the world. Like, no one wants cancer, right?
No.
And then you label a kid that. That is so hard to shake off of you. You announce, oh, this is cancer. Like,
it is, but here's the thing though, is it's so tough to get on that list. The last thing you want is what's that?
I said, I hear you on that, but I'm just thinking, man, that's like the worst, man.
Well, I mean, come on, you can't. I mean, words mean something. I think words mean
Yeah,
something.
absolutely.
You don't want to
Yeah,
say
absolutely.
cancer, especially around me. Man, I agree with that. But
I hear you, bro. Yeah.
yeah, I just the big thing for me though is you see these kids and they're we want them on that list, and then they do some, they strike out and they go out
Well,
and
but I
play.
also think your true colors will show if you're not prepared for it.
Well, I agree with that too, but I think that's
And
also
so
coaching
part of
too.
the coaching,
Yep,
is what, and here's the thing, you probably should coach more from a negative side anyway, right? Because you're going to be more negative than you are positive.
70%.
So yeah,
At
so you gotta understand what are you gonna
minimum.
do when a kid melts down. And so it'll be times where I can say, whoa, time, Blue, time. Hey, come here, come see your boy. I need you to get come here, man. What's up? What'd you think about it? Oh, did you see that? I did see the pitch. I said, but you know the cool thing about it, you still got one more.
Yeah.
Like the game isn't over. Like you're gonna bitch about this pitch, and you still got another one. You ain't gonna go back. Not one time I heard umpire go, you right. I'm gonna change that to a ball.
Yeah.
Not one time you
Yeah.
got me on that one. You know, and it hurts even more because they come up to the end and go, I missed that one. What? I don't want to hear you say you missed it. Just eat that. I want to hear that. I
Yeah.
missed that one.
No kidding.
I don't want to hear that. But here's the thing: as long as you got life, don't be emotional. Understand, get back to neutral, and understand what you're doing. You got one more pitch. There's a lot of damage you can do with one pitch, but you gotta get your mind right. And so we just gotta refocus. I'm looking for those times to have coaching moments. So I'm always in the coaching. What can I do to get you prepared? Um, you know, and and those are the times that they have blessed me with the opportunity to coach. You just hit dingers all day. I don't really get to do much.
Yeah, but let me ask
Trust
you a
me, I've
question
been there.
though. I
Those
think
first
Tom's
couple years at Canyon View. Go ahead.
I think Tommy's got a question, but when you like you're recruiting right now, like you're looking for these 12U, 14U and all that stuff. But when you're out there and these kids they're working out for you, whatever, what are you looking at? I mean, and let's say you have,
I'm looking
50
for
kids and you
top.
can't take 50 kids. What are you
Absolutely.
looking for?
I'm looking for someone to separate themselves and make them their mark on it. I want you to be fundamentally sound. I want you running on and off the field. I want to see how enthused you are. Because as a coach, if I work with a kid and that kid comes there and gives me good energy, I'll be in that backyard with them all my life. That one kid that you can't wait to get out of your backyard, no one wants to coach that kid. I hate to say it like that. But there's certain things that you got to show up the energy because especially in Arizona, man, it's 150,000 degrees. So you got to motivate me to stay out there as much as I'm trying to motivate you to stay out there, right? And so, I'm looking for a kid who has a strong attitude, an effort. We all want that one kid that you tell them something and they get it.
Absorb
Like
it.
those are the best kids. Yeah, you're like, man, I
Yeah.
just told you one time, you kind of figured out that's an awesome way. But then you have certain kids that sometimes you just go, man, this something about this kid, man. I can work with them. I can see it. And everybody's like, that kid's not good. I'm like, no, something about that kid's different. And I've been pretty good on those. There's a few of those kids I've hit, and they've ended up being something where they can throw or catch at the beginning at all. But I can see the athletic ability. I can see the hard work. I can see the ethics that they have in them. And you can just see that winning DNA in them. And I
Yeah.
think that's another, because the obvious kids, come on, man, the Shaqs and those guys that are obvious. You want to have those kids, but you're a good kid. You're a good coach when you can get those one or two kids. But you got to also know that some people aren't looking for that. Some coaches are just looking for that Cadillac. They're getting a fleet of Cadillacs, man.
Yeah.
I get an old Cadillac, I got to change the motor in and change the wheels and the oil and kind of make it look pretty again. And some people don't want to do that. Some people just don't want to do that. So, but I
No.
can't knock their game. Like I said, that's as long as you're transparent and people follow in that, that's on them, man.
But if
So,
they're gonna play for the Bat Busters,
yeah,
what qualities they have to have?
you got to work your butt off. You got to be a hard worker. You got to come here. You got to know that you're going to be put in situations that are going to be tough. And I'm going to teach you a way to continue to move forward, and you got to trust the process. And you understand if you have a goal to go to college, it's a 4-year. Now, if you're a junior, you got 2 or 3 year process, but we got to get you there. And you can't just come play for the Bat Busters and come to practice twice a week. It just ain't going to happen. You got to put in more time. I was just talking to a young lady today, man. I said, if you go out and hit 50 balls a day, right, it might take you 15 minutes. 50 balls is nothing, right? But at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you start seeing how many more cuts there are. You're going to be successful. It just depends on what we're measuring success at. Now, if you do more, you go out, get a ball, work on your hands, backhand, all this stuff. There's stuff that you can do. As much bad stuff is out there, there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube and all these other things that are people are doing it the right way, man.
There are.
And you know,
There's a lot.
you need to be a student. Yeah, you need to be a student of your game yourself. You know, you need to understand these kind of things, and that's what a lot of people don't get. Oh, I want to do this. Well, you want to have, you know, a Mercedes, but you're giving Hugo effort. You're not even getting Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? You're wanting something, but you don't want to put the work in. It doesn't work like that.
So
You
if they're
know?
gonna
And
come out,
so,
they're gonna come out for the Bat Busters. They got to work,
yeah,
right? You're saying they got to work,
absolutely.
and they got to come
Yeah,
to practice
attitude and
once or
effort.
twice a week, right? They have to have a good
Yep.
attitude. They got to wanna. They
And you
got to
got to
want
give
to
max
learn.
effort.
Max effort.
Yep.
Yeah, I think those
Yep.
are great qualities,
Yep.
and I think the biggest piece, I just knowing you though, is you got to be teachable, right? They have to be teachable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh,
And like I told you, like, you know, the cool thing about it now too is a lot of our kids, they're at that junior level. And not that I don't like the parents, I don't see them no more because the kids are driving themselves to practice.
yeah,
That's something new.
that's
So
something.
I'm like, well, yeah. So then your parents show up on a weekend and start yelling, bro, you ain't even put in the work to come to practice. You can't be yelling. You know what I'm saying? We up on you at least 8 to 10 hours, and you'll come in and start to yell. You're in the air conditioner watching Netflix. You gonna come out here yelling. If I want to know what was on Netflix, I'll talk to you. Otherwise, you come out here and be a dad. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Get yourself a cool Gatorade and chill out. You
Be a
know.
fan.
So
Be a freaking fan, Tommy.
Hey,
that's
John,
it.
you were just talking about, just the preparations and what you need to do, especially the mental side, which again is, in my opinion, is 90% of the game.
Yeah.
How important do you think weights conditioning are as an athlete going into especially softball? I mean, how important do you think those
You said
connect
wait.
weights and conditioning with softball? How
Well,
important it is, do you think?
I can tell you this, and it happened this summer. So I convinced my kids that if they did what they needed to do by 10 o'clock, they can do whatever they want after that. Okay, Dad, cool. Well, side note was we're gonna get up at 5 o'clock. So we got up at 5 o'clock, which everybody was what it was. We got in the weight room, we did a little throwing, we did all of our running stuff, and then they got there. And Mia, who is my daughter, who is we thought she was just gonna play with baby dolls. We just didn't think it was in it. And all of a sudden she's 6'2" now, and she's was 50, the summer 55, 57, 58, hit 60. And then over the last week, she's just been 62, touched 63 a couple of times or whatever. And
Wow.
now 61, 62 on the menu. And she's a junior. And she's starting, she got to live with her older sister this summer. So I told her, you're going to be better than Taylor for the simple fact that you have me, you have your mom, and you have Taylor. So you have no choice but to be great, but you need to listen. So she did listen, and I, Dutch start with here. I'll give you what you want, man. And so they got up and they did it, and it brought them closer to sisters. We went to a Utah camp. She got to hang out with her sister. It was so
You get to taste
the
it.
weights are
You get
very
to taste it.
important.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so the thing about it is you got to make sure you're lifting weights right too, because if you don't do it right, it'll mess you up just as bad as it is. We have a lot of people out there that
Well,
are
and I
lifting
always
stuff on
tell,
YouTube.
I always tell athletes, I'm like, if I'm recruiting you, you have to know the mechanics of lifting, because if you don't come to college prepared, you're going to go backwards while everybody else is getting better than you. So
Absolutely.
you have to have those skills.
Yeah. And you need to have the understanding of, it isn't like, we grew up playing baseball and stuff. It was like pitchers don't lift weights. I'm like, wait, what? Wish I'd have knew that. I mean, it was like now everybody lifts weights, everybody conditions. I mean, these guys are amazing. So, I had blessed to talk to Mike and a couple of those guys about, like, we grew up, you had couple guys that do 100, maybe high 90s. Now you got 100. The middle reliever throws 100, and then the closer throws 103.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck? So it's like crazy, but that's all because of modern medicine and weight training, man. It's just took people to be almost superhero. And here's the thing. You're throwing a 103-mile-an-hour fastball that's moving and someone's hitting it. That's even more amazing. I
No
get you
kidding.
throwing 103. Some dude's taking a stick and putting it on there.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you better learn how to mentally spot the ball, physically work to get better, and mentally understand that some days isn't just going to be your day, but tomorrow's a new day, man.
Yeah.
And I think we miss that.
I agree. We're gonna wrap this up. So, John,
Yes, sir.
last words for mom and dad, and athlete. I mean, you're going through the recruiting process. Well, you went through the recruiting process with Taylor. You're going to be going through it with Mia here shortly. You probably already are. Any recruiting advice for mom and dad and this athlete that may be a freshman, sophomore, junior, even a senior?
Yeah, listen, do your research and enjoy the process. Anything that we do in life, we have to look at it one or two ways. When you wake up in the morning, you can get off on the left side of the bed and be happy, or you can get off right side of the bed and be like, this sucks. So you have an opportunity, and it's pretty cool when people call you and ask you about your kids. So enjoy the process and get all the information you need to make sure you're making the right decision, right? And you got to remember, when you go recruit, everybody loves you. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep your mind right, and then write down the pros and cons about this place because you're making a decision. And now the NCAA and a couple other things have made it a little bit easier. If you get a mulligan. If you don't want to like it someplace, you can go somewhere else. But you got to remember, there's a lot of people out there getting mulligans now, and even that other one that you might want to go to may not be there anymore. So do your best to enjoy the process of the recruiting and don't stress about it. You know, if your kid is getting recruited, then you understand that some college is going to give her some money to go play. So enjoy that process and take the information and educate it with it.
So let's flip it. Let's flip it. Let's flip it real quick. Let's say you're a senior, right? And you're in your high school season, and you've been to every college showcase. You've played in every tournament. Mom and dad spent thousands and thousands of dollars. They never went through a recruiting service. However, they're listening to the travel ball coaches that they're going to get them recruited. What do you say to those parents and to that athlete there? And
it's like this. There's a lot of coaches out there that are like, nothing. They might be mechanics. They might do draw. They do that. I would go, if I need a mechanic, I will go to that guy. If I need a drywall guy, go to that guy. If I need a recruiting service, I will go to the recruiting service guy. And I would say, hey, what do you have? What are you gonna? I've done this, this, and this. What is your value to me to help me get to the next level? Right? What can you offer me? Right? I don't need any dreams. I want you. I need, at this point, the bell is gonging.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me what it is and how do I get this there. And so, I know you guys have got your business going. You guys are a bunch of guys that's doing it for the right reasons. And I think people need to look in on that, because there's, like I said, anything else, there's always someone out there with different goals and different values. And that, like I said, they have the right to do that. But you want to go to people that are going to be there for the right reasons, and I can't vouch for the people that are doing it right. I can vouch for you guys.
Yeah. John, Tony and I were just talking about this last night, but the 1%ers are always going to get
That's easy.
I mean, they're everybody's knocking on their doors. Everybody knows that, but it's the other 98%, 95%ers that just that don't, right? And
another thing. Yeah, and there's another thing, Tommy. I think, what was it, September 1, a lot of people got phone calls and people are going to start committing. But until you get on campus, that committal means nothing. Like, you need to continue to work, man.
Nope.
You need to continue to work. Don't, if anything, that should be the time that you start working more, because you want to go to that college. And you might be the best on your travel ball team, but everybody's best is going there.
Yeah.
And you need to be getting better. You need to be sharpening iron. You need iron with iron, man. You need to get better. You need to, get more focused on your strength, your understanding, your mindset. if your coach isn't giving you those things, because a lot of times, man, we know, um, we are we have an advantage because we got certain kids that are just good, man. And if you're at your best on your team, you're not getting challenged, you may want to look for something that's going to challenge you, because when you get to the next level, you can get a reality check when there's a junior who's an All-American and you're supposed to be incoming shortstop and yours is pinch running. You better be ready,
Yeah.
And so you got to
You never know
understand
when
your
your
value.
time. Yep.
Yeah, and you got to do those things, but those are the hard conversations. And like I said, you can't be scared to coach people, and you got to be honest with them. And
Yeah.
some people are catering to keep kids there instead of catering to get that kid ready to understand. Listen, this isn't. You may not play as much as you want, but you're learning from this. And you go in there with the learner's mentality instead of going, "Oh, they did me wrong." They didn't do you wrong. It just wasn't your turn yet. And that's where you want to kind of be. You got to understand, well, what is it? You we we'll,
You lost
we'll do
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of lost you at the very end there.
Oh yeah, no, Taylor, when she went to Utah, she had the red shirt. And so that was something we made a family decision on, right? We're not gonna be emotional, we're gonna make the decision. You could get 5 at bats this year and burn a year, or we could get the practice, understand what's going on. You get to take the test after you got to see all the answers to the test. You're gonna be
100%.
more successful.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's go. You got to practice an entire year with an incredible Utah team that went far. That's amazing. That's a cheat code, right? In life. We all wish we could do that. Let me do a stockbroker. I'm gonna take a whole year and go to the best stockbrokers around.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm gonna be a great trader after that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just one of those deals, man. And so we made a business decision and a life decision. We weren't emotional about it. And she loves everything about that school, and I'm happy for her, man. This is her life, and she's rolling until the wheels fall off.
Yeah, and I love that it's her experience, right? Mom and dad already had great experiences, and you're letting her have this experience. And I wish more parents would do that.
Yes, sir.
Because there's not a lot of parents
Yeah.
that
And listen, if your kid's gonna be Bo Jackson, trust me, Bo Jackson will show up. Deion Sanders, Tom Brady, they will show up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you think about some of those guys. You go from Bo Jackson, who was he was going to be it, to Tom Brady, who you maybe, and both of them end up being GOATs. You don't know what the path is. Both those guys expected great things out of their life, and that was amazing. But they also probably had the chance to develop, and their parents gave them the foundation, and they just let them grow, man. And sometimes we, as parents, we live through our kids, and like I said, you're old and ashy, man. Just sit back and be a dad and enjoy it and be there. Tell your kids they love you, man. I mean, come on. I go for 5 with 4 punch outs. I don't want to hear you telling me that I need to get my barrel above the ball. Right? Did it help me today? You told me the same before I did. When you take a break, why don't you buy me a burger and let's be my dad right now, So it's just little stuff that it's heavy enough to play this sport, man. I think about it sometimes. They call your name or they put the little dance music on. You walk up the home plate and it's you, home plate, and 9 people against you, and you got one bat. You try to, that sucks, man. And 9 people, it depends on what the umpire is that day. It might be 10.
No kidding, right?
You know what I'm saying?
No
So you gotta, it's tough to get up there, and everybody's giving you that 30 seconds to talk on how to hit. It sucks. So go up there, clear your head, and crush.
Yeah. And once again, parents, just be a fan. Just be a fan and enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, and let the coaches coach. Let them develop your kid, right?
Can't give your mom shit. Get some sunflower seeds.
Yeah. Tommy, go ahead and wrap it up.
Yep. Tom, it's been an honor, man. I'd love to shoot it with you, man. I'm really excited to come see you this spring, obviously, see your program. Obviously, I would love to recruit from your players. You guys have a bunch of studs. Obviously, I'm following.
Smart, you would.
I'm crying, man. I'm knocking on doors. I'm kissing the babies. I'm waving. I'm doing everything I can do, my man. I'm there.
That's it. That's it. We'll do it, man. We'll get something that your way.
Sounds great, man.
Yeah, and hey,
you guys keep doing it right, man. I'm very proud of you and what you're turning that program into, man. Keep grinding, brother.
Thanks, man.
It's fun to see you growing. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I
So
thank you
John,
guys for giving me this opportunity. I don't get too many people that talk to me, so I appreciate it, bro.
That's all we
listen,
want
man,
to bros talk. That's all we want,
you-
man.
John, we've
Go to
been
the
on
buffet.
we've been on the phone. We've been on this Zoom for almost 2 hours, right?
Yeah, that's it.
We could be on the Zoom for another 6 easily. And it's just there's so much
Oh,
to
easy.
say.
Easy.
There's so much to say. Yeah, kick your ass, but there's so much to say. And Tommy and I can't thank you and your wife enough
100%.
for coming on here and just talking, man. Just giving, your life experiences and sharing that with mom and dad, these other mom and dads out here and these athletes. And I hope mom and dads and these athletes are really listening to what you guys are saying, because you guys have done it at the highest level and you're not steering your kids wrong. And I think that you guys being unselfish in actually, getting these younger teams together, you're going
Giving back to the
to
game.
young.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to develop them, and you're going to change lives. You're already changing lives.
And that's the reason why we did it. I mean, I give so many kids hitting lessons in the back, and parents are telling me this. I have people crying in my backyard. I'm like, well, I can't coach 45 teams. So part of it was me trying to identify the right people to bring on board who
It's
have
tough.
like-minded people. Not and
It's
I
tough.
don't want to make it sound like I'm this and that. Listen, I'm a regular guy, man. I'm like I said, each day I'm just trying to get better, and I hope I'm doing it right. All right. So, and if I get it wrong, I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and I'll push reset and try to work on it.
Yeah.
And so it was hard, finding like-minded people, but I have faith. And if I do the right things, the right people will come around me, man.
Yeah,
And
you
even
will.
when these guys come around me, I tell them, listen, the way we start out barking about we're gonna do this and this, you better have that on day 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. If it ever gets to a point where you don't have that passion, you got to beat it. Because now we're not only co-signing with me and everything we're doing, but you're representing, we're working at Canview High School, we're doing a bat buster, and we have a certain way we want to kind of handle ourselves, to elevate these young kids, man. And if you can't keep that passion, I need to know so we can get somebody else in the bus that's going to drive it.
Yeah.
Well,
And so,
it's no
hey,
different.
we got you.
It's no different than the big leagues, right? You have a hitting instructor and it goes all the way down. And if they're not following the process, there's no way you can climb levels and have a different hitting coach teaching something totally different, right? And you guys you're doing that exact same thing with your program. And I think that's huge because you're going to develop the piss out of these kids at such a young age that I just wish more kids, could get that type of coaching and that type of mentorship.
Gotcha.
And you guys, man, my hat's off to you guys. Trust me, I've thought about, doing this and creating these teams, and there's just not enough of you, right? And
Well, that's the thing. I'm out of my comfort zone right now, man.
I bet.
I'm not in control of a lot, and I gotta have faith. And one of the things I always like, I'm not gonna do, I can't help adults. Well, I need some more adults, and so that's what I'm doing. And so I'm going back a little bit on some things I'm insecure about, but that's how you go, man. I tell the kids all the time, sometimes you gotta get uncomfortable to grow. And this is my growth process, and I'll let them. I don't feel great. It's not that I don't feel great about it, but I'm nervous, man, and it's okay. But I'll make it work.
No, you will, and you guys are going to be fine. And I think it's awesome that you guys are doing that and you're doing it together. And if you're a parent and you have a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, 16-year-old, 18-year-old, whatever, I would go to John and Deanne in a freaking second. And if you're not, good luck to you. But I mean, you guys are creating characters. You guys are creating studs, and not only on the field but off the field. And I think that if you're not looking for that as a parent, you need to.
Well, and all parents should be realizing, and the athletes too, is that this is softball, but this is also life lessons. Everything that we're doing, we're talking about, is about your life, the 40 years of the rest of your life after softball, right? That's the crap.
You know how much time we spend on this stuff right now? You better be taking as life lessons. We spend so much time on it.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, you better.
We've all learned from somebody. John, you just spent 15 minutes talking about it. Just the people that you've been blessed with in your life, right? And you're just doing the same thing that they did for you. And I was blessed. Tommy was blessed. I mean, we've had some good people in our life, right? And again, we were looking for it too, because we wanted to get better and we were open to it.
Absolutely.
And that's key. You have to be open to it. You can't know everything because we don't. we're still learning every day, right? But
I'm learning every day. So
anyway, all right, Big John. Thanks
We
again, buddy.
appreciate you, my man.
Another episode
my
of
brothers,
Dugout
you guys
Talk.
take care of yourselves, man. Keep
Yeah.
doing it, man. Hey, and when you end up like the Kelsey brothers, man, remember who started y'all out, man.
Oh shit.
We got some work to do. Those dudes are so fun.
Hey, don't worry. Hey, you'll be in our commercial for sure. Don't worry. We got you, my man.
I got you, dude. It's all good.
Yeah, you are the man. I appreciate it. Tell
Appreciate
Deanne hello. Tell your kids hello.
I will, man.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man. We'll see you later.
We'll see you soon,
All right,
man.
you guys take care. Be safe. All right. God bless.
You too.
Man.
God bless
We'll
you,
talk to
buddy.
you guys soon.
Buddy. All right.
All right, bro.
Bye.